This is 7 News, the voice of the Riverina.
Tonight, thousands of tonnes of tyres and mattresses go up in smoke.
130 extra residential blocks to hit the market as Wagga's northern suburb booms.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, the Optus boss announces her resignation after a nationwide outage. And inside the celebrations as Australia tastes World Cup cricket glory.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. The Cootamundra community can breathe a sigh of relief tonight with a toxic fire in one of the town's recycling facilities now under control.
Bearing the brunt of the weekend heat, fire crews from right across the region worked tirelessly to stop the blaze from spreading.
A thick plume of acrid black smoke floods the Cootamundra sky and visible from up to 100 kilometres away. Fire crews quickly responded to the fire which broke out on the outskirts of town late on Saturday afternoon.
Received a pager call that there was actually a grass fire in the Turners Lane district, but as of quickly responding, we noticed that it wasn't a grass fire, that actually was the mattress and tyre recycling facility was on fire.
RFS crews were the first to arrive, followed by fire and rescue and council tankers soon after.
Got fire and rescue in with their breathing apparatuses and with their hazmat gear to be able to safely manage the fire for the community as of the toxic gases being released from it.
We had crews from Cowra, Harden, Gundagai, Temora, Wagga and the duty commander out of Goulburn.
Burning overnight and well into Sunday, toxic flames licked the 2,500 tonnes of depot debris edging closer to the site's perimeter.
So the power lines had burnt down, so Country Energy, I put the call in for Country Energy to come out and render the site safe for us so we could actually get back into it.
But conditions worked in the favour of first responders and the community.
There was a very mild wind, not a strong wind, otherwise it possibly got outside the depot and taken off up over the hill.
By Sunday night, the fire was under control and power was restored, with work starting to identify what caused the blaze and how to prevent it from happening again.
And at this stage, we're putting it down as self-combusted.
They've engaged professional people to try and find what the source was so they can better manage that into the future, that it doesn't happen again.
As the threat of reignition continues today, a number of excavators, bulldozers and dump trucks remain on site to cover any points of concern.
Until they're happy that it's safe, they've got crews coming in to put probes in so they can monitor the temperature that's happening underneath.
Emily Francis, 7 News.
Meanwhile, a hay shed has been destroyed by fire at the Gap. Firefighters were called to Mile Mail Road on Saturday after reports more than 200 bales stored in the shed were alight. It's the 18th hay stack fire in the region in a month. The Rural Fire Service has issued a reminder to farmers to check their stacks to prevent combustion.
Police are also investigating a fire that gutted a Riverina home early this morning. Fire and Rescue New South Wales were called to a home on Watson Road in Griffith just before 6 a.m. 3 fire crews battled the blaze but were unable to save the single-storey home from being engulfed. Luckily, the home was vacant, with the cause of the fire now under police investigation.
More than 2 months after a Wagga real estate agency went into liquidation, many of its customers are still searching for answers about what exactly went wrong. The business has now been split into pieces after its closure, with other local agencies now taking over its operations. Emily Francis joins us now. And Emily, how did this all unfold?
Well, Nick, after more than 100 years in business and after just 3 years after it sold to a Sydney operator, Horan Davies went into voluntary administration in June this year. According to the National Security and Investments Commission, the company then went into liquidation 3 months later. It's not known exactly why the company shut down, but customers have reported that funds are still being taken out of their accounts. MacArthur Real Estate has acquired Horan Davies' rental roll and says the money can be recovered if tenants reach out.
If they are getting money taken out of their account, it would be with the administrators, and we will be able to get that money back to them. They just need to reach out.
It's understood McGrath Real Estate has taken over the company's strata management. Nick.
OK, thanks for the update, Emily. That's Emily Francis reporting for us tonight.
The final puzzle piece of Wagga Wagga is another step closer, with plans for the 130 residential block development now on public display. It's welcome news for local builders who say they've got more customers wanting to build than they do land to put houses on.
15 hectares of undeveloped land smack bang in the middle of one of Wagga's premier suburbs.
You've got residences on this side and that side and a big farmland in the middle. So I think seeing it get developed will be really good and help link the whole suburb together.
Wagga Wagga was formed when the farm's original owner passed on, leaving the property to his 5 children. 4 subdivided and sold immediately. The 5th, Margaret Mavrudis, held on to the final patch. That is until last year, when the family finally agreed to sell it for a whopping $14 million. The sale, music to local builders' ears, who say they're desperate to secure more blocks to sell.
This parcel of land will be really popular if we can infill that and link up the roads.
The land will be developed with more than 130 residential blocks up for grabs. Lot sizes range from around 700 square metres through to 2-hectare plots to the northern end of the suburb.
I think it's a really good diverse range for families. It's obviously a family suburb, so having those options there is really good.
Around that 700-800 spot on for your 4-bedroom, 2-garage, basically new family home. That's really the sweet spot.
The development application is with Wagga Council and on public display, so residents in the area can see exactly what's to come for the patch down the road, which is usually running with sheep and cattle.
The plans for this final stage of Wagga Wagga are currently on public display until Wednesday, November 29. Those wanting to have their say on the development can do so by visiting Wagga Council chambers or online.
Wagga Wagga residents are also calling for another look at the area's infrastructure. The mass population boom the farm development will bring needs to be catered for.
We need some more sporting type things out here. There's not a community hall out this way. Hopefully maybe a high school down the track, just all those things that come with a growing community.
Samantha Costin, 7 News.
A man charged over the armed robbery of Junee Shell service station will remain behind bars until at least 2026. Zach Abraham Leroy was charged in September last year after he held an employee at gunpoint and demanded cash. Prior to his arrest, Leroy had been on the run for 9 days. The 28-year-old has been sentenced to 5 years and 4 months in jail.
A man has died following a 2-vehicle crash in the state south. At about 9 a.m. on Sunday, emergency services were called to Alpine Way south of Cancoban after reports a motorbike and a car had collided. A 62-year-old died at the scene. The driver of the car was taken to Tumbarumba Hospital for mandatory testing.
The government has announced it's doubling its roads to recovery funding to $1 billion a year. It's not known how much councils will get, but every council in the country has been promised a share.
You don't have to drive very far to notice potholes, cracks and crumbling roads.
Dropped my husband off at the day surgery and you're swerving all over the road to get to where you want to go and you could cause an accident.
I think more could be done, yeah, I'd say, yeah, especially on Broomer Street and, yeah, Wangully Road, yeah.
New funding hopes to address concerns. The federal government's Roads to Recovery program boosted from $500 million to $1 billion. It's good news for local councils who've been promised a share of the funding pie.
How this money is spent in terms of the roads to recovery, local councils make that decision themselves. They know their local road networks better.
Wagga councillors say the funds are badly needed.
What we're seeing at present is roads that were built 30 or 40 or 50 years ago that are past their design life, that have still got no works planned for them.
A lot of community feedback on the condition of a lot of the country roads, especially the dirt ones at this time of year when agriculture relies on them.
For the next 4 years, funds will increase until they hit $1 billion, and it'll all start from next year's budget.
The money should start flowing now. Catherine King says, well, we're going to increase the money from next budget. Well, how many lives will be lost from now until the next budget because of unsafe, appalling roads?
The funding comes just 1 week after a report by the Grattan Institute revealed a $1 billion injection was needed to keep our roads from crumbling.
Councils with the longest road networks and with the road networks under the most distress, it would be good if priority could be given to those councils.
Marla Summer, 7 News.
The construction of one of Wagga's main thoroughfares is still another month away from opening, despite it already being heavily delayed. Lord Baden Power Drive has been completely redone and has been closed for 3 months. The road closure has limited access to a number of businesses, including the new multi-million-dollar Museum of the Riverina. It's also created lengthy detours for traffic travelling from Turvey Park to Coringal.
They closed it initially for 8 weeks, so it made easy access for the contractors to get in, do their work and get out. Here we are, a month over already, and still no signs of opening.
Wagga Council is now planning to open the road on December 18. It's not yet known exactly how much extra money has been spent on the 2-month delay.
A popular pub on Wagga's Main Street will receive $1.8 million for a front facade makeover. The Victoria Hotel submitted plans to Council, which now details new signage, including 3D and illuminated lettering. It also plans to create bistro access from the rear car park. It hopes to attract more pedestrian traffic and create a vibrant public space. Well, Danny Sharp joins us now with a look at today's weather. And Danny, it was another warm one out there today.
That's right, guys. A bit cloudy as well. Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. That cloud cover didn't deliver much rain, though we are expecting a little more later this evening. Today's cloud cover trapping in the heat, though, as temperatures reached into the 30s. Wagga saw a top of 31 degrees. Narendra climbed to 33 as well, 29 over in Young. Tomorrow getting to a top of 32 degrees. We saw some warm temperatures overnight as well, getting into the high teens. Now, there is some rain on the radar, even some storms. West Wyalong, a bit of a preview for you. You got to 32 degrees, 19 overnight. Tomorrow getting to a top of 32 as well. Junee getting to 29 degrees. Keeping it warm and some possible storms on the way. I'll tell you where and when a little later in the bulletin, guys.
Thanks, Danny. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Well, up next in 7 News, TEDx talks come to Wagga.
And a disturbing trend of fewer children being taught how to swim.
And a little later on this news hour, a major shake-up for Optus as the CEO announcing her resignation. 4 people miraculously survive a high-speed crash that left their car a mangled wreck. And fresh hopes of reaching a deal to free some of the hostages kidnapped by Hamas. That's all coming up 6:30.
Welcome back. New figures show almost half of families aren't enrolling their kids in swim classes, saying their children are too young to benefit. But many believe the rising cost of living is also playing a role in this dangerous new trend.
Swim Safer Week has returned for its 2023 season. Until Sunday, more than 1,000 swimming schools across Australia will focus on saving lives.
We want to make sure that kids understand self-preservation and how to respond to risks and dangers in the water. We set up stations and the kids move through different areas, reach rescues, throw rescues, our tactile area, which includes sensations of what they might walk on underwater.
The program is timely, with research indicating that 41% of Australian children are currently not enrolled in swimming lessons, with 38% of parents believing their children are too young to learn to swim.
Drowning happens when kids experience things that they're not used to. So the more opportunity to learn to swim, the more exposure they get to potential situations.
They can get into trouble pretty quick if they can't swim. So I taught my kids when they were little.
Very important. It's a life skill, really, that all kids should learn.
As the cost of living worsens, state government funding has helped families stay afloat. The New South Wales government launched its first lap program, offering $50 swimming vouchers for children aged between 3 to 6 years.
There is funding out there available to the schools that they can make available to families as vouchers, and that means that swimming lessons can be subsidised for people that are doing it tough.
Reiterating the importance of water safety.
Drowning's not the only thing. There's near drownings where kids are damaged for life, brain issues, lack of oxygen, spinal injuries, all sorts of things that can go wrong in water.
Rochelle Punikovic, 7 News.
TEDx has reached Wagga with the first ever event held on Saturday night. Hosted at the Playhouse, 8 local speakers graced the stage, sharing stories and experiences to create thought-provoking conversations. The event, organised by Adam Bannister, took 12 months of planning, selling out within hours.
This is a start of a movement, a long-term movement to inspire this level of community pride and to show the world my version of Wagga, what I see, what I know here. Wagga and the Riverina. This is a Riverina-based thing.
The event featured speakers from CSU, comedians, GPs and academics as well.
Former Toyota Star Maker winner Max Jackson has been announced as the official ambassador of Tamworth Country Music Festival with less than 2 months until it all kicks off. Organisers are hoping the decision will appeal to a younger audience. Jackson says she wants to help the next generation of Australian country music stars.
You can have just bought your first guitar and come down and play the 2 songs that you know on repeat down in Peel Street and showcase what you can do. Or you can be showing, you know, your first song that you've written or whatever it is. So I think that this festival is incredibly important.
The festival will run from the 19th to the 28th of January.
Still to come in 7 News, a sea of boats on Lake Albert for the Great Inland Classic.
And Gundagai's premier horse racing event back with a vengeance. Wagga RSL remain equal top of the Wagga cricket ladder after a thrilling round. The Bulldogs held on to a 3-run win thanks to a late South Wagga collapse.
Wagga RSL and South Wagga both entered round 6 with a chance to move on top of the ladder. Bulldogs winning the toss, but it was the South Wagga bowlers on top thanks to some brilliant catching from keeper Alex Smith. Ethan Bartlett 42, Sam Smith 38 and Ethan Perry 30. The only RSL batsmen to reach double figures. But their 145 total proved to be just enough, with the Blues falling 3 runs short in the run chase, all out for 142. St Michael's have posted their second biggest score of the season thanks to 90 runs from opener Beck Frostick. A nice cameo from captain Nathan Corby with 34, along with Frostick, who hit 15 falls, helping St Michael's to 9 for 230. Lake Albert falling short of the total, bowled out for 202 in the 46th over. And it was a high-scoring affair between Kringle Colts and Wagga City Cats. The Colts sending the Cats in at the toss, and it proved a mistake with an opening partnership of 102, setting the platform for a total of 236. Kringle losing a steady flow of wickets throughout the innings, eventually dismissed for 207. Stephen Murphy, 7 News.
Gundagai's Premier Racing Carnival has surged back from the brink, overcoming COVID and last year's floods to produce the best Snake Gully Cup on record. Enthusiasm was at an all-time high as hundreds flocked to the track to witness some incredible racing events, including the $100,000 main feature, which is considered the Riverina's richest race. Snake Gully Cup winners Ben Brisbane and Nick Haywood took home the coveted $48,000 first place prize.
Chinquatori, Ballistic Kids late on the outside. Super Razi hit the front in the cup. Super Razi has taken out the cup from Ballistic Kids, Chinquatori, Rocket Tiger.
And there was plenty of family activities on the green and a hotly contested fashions on the field showcase. The success at the weekend has secured the Gundagai Adelong Racing Club's carnival for many years to come. The 5th edition of the Great Inland Classic Boat Show has taken to Wagga's waters over the weekend. Vintage vessels from across the decades tour around Lake Albert, competing across both Saturday and Sunday. Renowned competitors such as Martini, the Spook, Get Roughed, Freebooter, Broken Arrow and more proved age is no number when it comes to speed and agility. But it wasn't just all about the waterway. Dozens camped beside the lake enjoying food, drinks and time spent with other boating enthusiasts. Well, up next in 7 News, Danny is back and she's got your local weather forecast. That's next.
Hello again, time for another check of the weather. On the synoptic chart, troughs are triggering showers and storms over parts of New South Wales. Heavy falls are likely in the east by Wednesday. A high pressure system is keeping much of the west dry for now, but by Thursday, some of those showers should creep into our backyard. Taking a look at that rainfall now, and it's set to intensify over the next 8 days. The Riverina expecting anywhere between 0 and 35 mil. Meanwhile, temperatures are getting ready to climb. Tomorrow to top 30 degrees almost everywhere. 29 for Albury, 30 degrees for Wagga. High 20s in Adelong, Tumut topping at 29 degrees. Light winds and even possibly a thunderstorm, only bringing around 5 mil of rain though. Taking a look on Wednesday is keeping it warm as well. Gundagai looking at a top of 31 degrees, 29 in Young. A very low chance of showers, those light winds becoming easterly in the evening. Tomorrow heading for a top of 31 degrees, cooler in Tumbarumba at a top of 27. Pretty similar conditions again on Thursday as those troughs generate storms further north. Sunshine for us though, Albury hanging around the 30 degree mark, Wagga getting to a top of 31. That UV rating is on the up too, so make sure you are sun safe. 28 degrees in Hardin, tomorrow getting to a top of 30. Taking a look at the next 7 days, and the end of our working week should be pretty clear before the chance of another shower or two by the weekend. Pretty comfortable overnight temperatures though, sticking to the mid-teens. In the meantime though, keep an umbrella handy guys. We are expecting some showers over the next few days, only around 5 mil though for Tuesday I should say. Which day is it? 30 degrees tomorrow.
The rain will be very welcome indeed. Thanks, Danny. See you later. Now, for a quick look at fuel prices around the region. In Wagga, the Metro Petroleum in Ashmont is selling unleaded for $1.84 and diesel for $1.98. The Shell service station in Henty is offering unleaded for $2.04 and diesel for $2.24. And in Coolaman, Mobil has unleaded for $1.87 and diesel there is $2.02 a litre.
And that is your local news for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. You can always catch up on our website, of course, at 7+.
Right now, though, Dan has your national news. Have a lovely night. See you again tomorrow night from 6 o'clock. See you then.